dedicated client success specialist. This is somebody that is your main point of contact that can help you with how-to questions, but also best practices and goal setting and helping you measure your performance. And I will say recently, we've been hearing from clients that this has really proven to be an invaluable resource for them as they've tried to transition from in-person events to virtual events. People have been leaning on their client success specialist to help design their event, but also we've had numerous organizations that have already successfully completed virtual events. So the client success specialist has been able to share the lessons learned from those organizations and the different things that people have found to work particularly well. And those are some of the things that we're excited to share with you today as well. And we carry that commitment to customer success all the way through our product. You'll find the platform has drag and drop interfaces, WYSIWYG editors, again, all aimed at making it easy for anyone of any skill set to be able to provide professional looking and engaging event experiences. So as we transition to the live demo portion of today's presentation, Mark and I, sat down, we thought, identified 5 areas that really are the key to delivering a real event experience. Because honestly, between clients and other organizations we've been meeting with, that wanting to create an experience is really the main concern we hear as people are considering virtual events or making that move to virtual events. People are concerned about just providing a listing of webinars. They want something that gives that feeling of experience that people can actively participate in and be engaged in. So that's where Mark and I came up with these 5 different areas. Of course, attendee engagements at the top of the list. And again, we define that as active participation in the event. So he has some great solutions and again, ideas from other organizations that he's going to walk us through today. From the event attendee perspective, one of the #1 reasons people share that they attend events is to be able to network with others. So we'll be showing you some solutions about how you can facilitate connections, both with your organization, but with other attendees. And then of course, providing value and visibility to sponsors is always top of mind. So again, we'll walk you through some traditional things like the virtual trade show experience that you can deliver, but also some unique ideas because again, as we're operating in this new virtual format, we need to try some new things and new opportunities to be able to be successful. And then really, another really important aspect is the multi-device access. And again, today's topic is focused on virtual events, but as we look towards the future, hybrid events is really going to be the next transition organizations need to make. Obviously, none of us know how things will play out with COVID, but the reality is that for a certain amount of time, people won't be able to travel to in-person events. So there's going to need to be some type of option for people to be able to attend virtually. And on a positive note, our clients that have successfully done virtual conferences recently, they've actually shared that a great benefit of going virtual is help them expand their audience. So there's people that have been able to participate in the event that haven't been able to when it was in person, but it's also extended the length of time people are interacting with the event and accessing content and things. So there's lots of positive that come from this virtual that I think people will want to continue to carry on even after the pandemic ends. So that multi-device access, the ability to have a really strong phone experience, desktop experience, even a smart TV experience so you can, throw a keynote presentation up on your living room TV, things like that, are just going to be really important for this new normal and also kind of looking ahead to the future. And then one of the things that I personally feel we do better than anybody is the ability to personalize the experience and to personalize content. And obviously, relevancy has always been the key to creating a great experience. And we all know that we have lots of different audience types, new members, student members, non-members, speakers. But as we look to hybrid events in the future, you're going to have a new segments of your audience to serve. You're going to have people that are virtual, that are home and they're working from their desk, and then you're going to have people that are on site with you at the event. So being able to personalize the menu items, the notifications, the content is going to be more important than ever before. So I'm really excited about some of the things that Mark's about to show us. And again, we identified, we've had many clients use our platform over the last several weeks, and really even before that as well, in terms of this hybrid approach. So Mark's picked out some great examples to show you today. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, Mark, so you can pick it up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the introduction. I'm also really excited to see so many familiar faces. Lori, can you see the screen there?
Yes, I can, Mark.
Excellent. By the way, I appreciate y'all reaching out. We have a number of clients on the call and colleagues on the call that were kind enough to reach out. So that gave me great confidence today. That said, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping before I go into the various sections that Lori highlighted. And one of the things I want you to understand through this process is, because we're picking just really 5 topics that have a lot to do with the experience and the benefit to the organization and the attendees and exhibitors, that we are integration specialists. We integrate with virtually all AMSs, that we integrate with registration software as well, that we are web conferencing tool agnostic. So if you're using WebEx, GoToWebinar, Zoom, just think of it that if I use the word Zoom, it's like saying Xerox for a copy or Kleenex for a tissue, because we can cover all of those various platforms. And then the last thing I want you to think about is that, as Lori said, we've been doing this for about 11 years now with this platform. We didn't start doing virtual events on March 13th, 2020. We have clients, some are on the call right now, that have been simulcasting for a couple of years now. They simulcast their events, they live stream, they have live events. And so what was really exciting for us was that our clients, when they had to pivot or pirouette or whatever you want to call it right now, when they had to make this change, they didn't have to go looking for a new technology. This technology is already in place with their system that their people are familiar with. And what I'm most excited is that no matter what this virus brings us for the next change, whether it's hybrid or live or back to virtual, they're already set up with the technology that can handle all of those situations. So that said, let me kind of go into the fact that we support multi-devices. So what you're looking at right now is this is the web version of the event. This was an event that happened last week in the UK. It was MEMCOM. Normally that was a one-day live event for association professionals, similar to some of the goals that ASAE has, and they turned it into a 5-day event. We also had a mobile experience for that event where they could use the telephone, their laptop, their mobile device for this experience. And what we found in offering the multi-devices is that many people for your virtual event are only going to use their laptop or desktop. Some are only going to use their tablet or mobile device, but most tend to use combination of the two. Not unlike how when you go to a regular event, because with the laptop or the desktop, you can literally throw it up on a big screen. I have a couple monitors here, but I now have this new TV where I can share things on the screen there. And you can throw the speaker up on the screen, but still interact with your mobile device like you were used to the last time you went to a live event. You might be doing one-on-one chat. You might be posting about the event. You might be working on your schedule, but you can use them in tandem. And we've done some recent studies. We've gotten some feedback recently and some data that shows more than 2/3 of the people attending the virtual events that are using our platform are using a mobile device. So 2/3 of the people or more are using a mobile device in addition to whatever other platforms there are. So multi-device is real important. It allows people the flexibility to come and go where they need to go. If you go back to a hybrid event, it allows you to, while people are on site, use that mobile device on site, but people at home view on their computer or a combination of the two. And multi-device allows just all kinds of freedom based on how people are used to using the technology. Next, I'd like to talk to you about personalized content. And I'm going to show you here on the desktop some personalized content items. And one thing I'd like to show you is that this was an event that we did as a demo event. And as you can see on this left-hand side, I have personalized speaker resources. I have personalized exhibitor resources. We have the ability to do personalized content. So what does that mean? We can create roles for each individual. You can have unlimited roles, and people can be more than one role. So I can now have member versus non-member, speaker, exhibitor, staff, committee members, regional members. I can make the communication personalized for those groups. This is especially important if we go to a hybrid event, because you're going to have roles of on-site attendee and virtual attendee. I don't think the virtual attendees really care that much about a map of the convention center. And I also don't think the people in the convention center are concerned as to how to best utilize the web conferencing tool that you're using in your platform. But this allows you, based on that role, to give them personalized content that's important to them. Interestingly enough, we also have a way to leverage those roles in communication or push notifications. For example, notifications can come right to the individual, and these notifications can be sent by role. Here's an example of the notifications on the mobile device. So they can be sent by role, and that allows you to send notifications based on the information that you have on your individual. For example, you might want to let virtual people know it's time to go to the webinar, where your on-site people, it's time to go to lunch. You might want to let people know before, during, or after the event, other things that would be important from the association standpoint. Your non-members, you might want to send a push notification on how to become a member, but you'd never want to send that to a member because they're already a member. So push notifications are a very strong way to take advantage of the platform. They can be seen on the desktop version, right on the user's phone, not buried in emails where they get deleted, and allow you to do it in a personalized fashion. Next, I'd like to show you about how we're going to engage attendees. And let me start out here with this desktop version. You know, we've had some pretty spectacular events recently. One was Johns Hopkins University, who in 9 days decided to go from live to virtual, and we supported that. And what was amazing is that they had this demonstration with Chef John Shields on how to cook crab cakes and the recipe, and they streamed it live and you could see it. And if you didn't want to cook them yourself, they gave you partners in the community that you could order them from that would deliver. Some would even deliver via FedEx. So if you weren't local, you could get those. We had ISPIM, who had great engagement. They had a live band opening up their session and had phenomenal engagement from that. Let me show you some of that engagement right on the mobile device as well. So they had phenomenal engagement at this event, and right in that session, people were able to engage because they could post about the information in that session. So people were at home listening, and they were sharing photos and commenting and liking and some were playing along and rehearsing, and it was really impactful and exciting. Now, what's nice is that this is within the session, but it also aggregates to a bigger wall where it's a discussion wall. So those posts can be seen there, but you get the benefit of being within the conference, seeing everything that's happening, but at the same time, you can always go back to that session and just click on the session, that ISPN Live, and be in the session. And that interaction stays there after the event. You know, I've been watching the chat all day, and the chat's really exciting, but at the end of this event, the chat's gonna go away. by being able to make posts within the session and follow along in the session and see it on the timeline for the organization, it allows me to come back and reference it and access it. So that's some engagement that we have here. You know, we even, when we were at MemCon, which I talked about earlier, there was even a Fail Fest, which Reggie Henry was a part of, which was just a phenomenal session. So we were really excited about that. Other engaging ways for attendees is we can support your Q&A, your surveys, your polls, whether you use our services or integrate with others. We can support Slido, Google Docs. We can support your abstract providers through integration and or by posting the information, accessing their URLs. So there's a lot of ways to engage there. But that posting on the timeline is another way that we find there's real strong engagement with the attendees. I'm going to jump now into maybe facilitating connections. And we find that facilitating connections is quite important. If I go here, one thing that I'd like to show you is that we have directories. Oh, sorry about that. So we have these directories, and we can go into the directories, and each individual can create their own profile. So right away, people can entice people to talk to them by giving them information about themselves. They can put their pictures, their contact info, etc. The organization can provide some items, but you as an individual can decide what you want to share and what's available on that. That said, so when my profile's out there, I can then message other people going through the directory. So I did that here, and here we had an opportunity to engage with others. This was the directory, actually. And as you'll see, I have all these people starred before we go alphabetically. The platform, the Event Central platform, is designed to identify people that you've connected with in the past, meaning that you favorited. So when you go to another event that's using the platform and they're there, they're going to show up right in your favorites automatically. You can start talking to them before the event, during the event, and after the event. But when you go into these, you can then start talking with people. So, for example, I have Michael Jones, and I can message him. He and I are colleagues, and we're messaging. I'll show you some other areas where you can message as well. We have the messaging right here. Sorry about that. Direct messaging. And Lee Davies. If anybody was on the Fail Fest, they'll know Lee Davies. But he and I were talking over 2 days. Great conversation. Gentleman in the UK, association professional. And we can speak to each other all year long throughout using the platform. One last opportunity that I can show you is this was another event. But as you can see, the dialogue just keeps going on and on and on. So we have a way to really facilitate connections. In addition to that, though, we had certain one-on-one discussions. In addition to these one-on-one discussions, we had coffee talks. We had sessions where we're on particular topics that we can then use the meeting functionality to have everybody come in and exchange and share information. Last, I'm going to kind of switch gears into providing value to sponsors. And let me bring back the desktop version, because I think that's going to be a better way to show you some of these items that we can provide to sponsors. So with regards to the sponsors, we have these notifications. The notifications, as I said before, show up on their phone. We believe that because you have the ability to do sponsored notifications, you can add that to your sponsor packages or use that as an opportunity for revenue. I think in an earlier presentation, whenever you see the opportunity to do something like this, just think of the dollar signs that they were talking about before. But what's really nice is that we can link these notifications directly to that sponsor, so the sponsor gets maximum value. And I know bringing value to sponsors is important. That's one way you can do that. They can include images, emojis, these links. You can also do sponsored sessions, like we did some coffee talks and some other sponsored sessions. But sponsors can be added to a session for recognition. They could sponsor a session. You could offer them the opportunity to speak at the beginning of a session or you could allow them to hold some meetings. Now, while we offer a trade show option, which I think is quite engaging, we also have to understand that people are now looking for thought leadership and ways to bring sponsors in, members of this community, to bring their value in with their thought leadership. So by doing some sponsored sessions, sponsors can bring real value, get the dialogue going where it's now helpful to the organization, not a sales process, and develop some trust and see how they can partner up moving forward. So our platform allows for those in addition to that. Let me give you an idea of the trade show opportunities, though, that we have. I'll show you with MEMCOM again, and you have that virtual trade show. We have the ability to create custom content. So I can develop this trade show in a variety of ways, menu-driven, by topic, location. We can make all kinds of custom content. This is how MEMCOM chose to do it. So they had their virtual trade show, and we delivered all of these types of resources where they could use tools to make appointments. They could have the virtual trade show stand, which would be like a meeting room, or share their videos. We could show what sessions the sponsor was related to and allow them to link with that. And if the sponsors were speaking, we could do that as well. With custom content, we're able to create all types of environments where you can go in. I got to tell you, the trade show was great for us because while we had designated times and people would come in during those times we were monitoring it, the web conferencing system they used let us know when people came into our booth, whether we were there or not. So somebody would come in after the hours of the trade show and we'd know about it. We'd jump in and start having a conversation with them and dialogue. So it was really phenomenal. But in addition to that, we have sponsorship opportunities, whether it's an exclusive sponsorship, a welcome sponsor landing page, or the banner ads that you might have seen as I keep switching between devices and pages and whatnot. So there's all types of opportunities for that, to have a way to promote your sponsors and interact with them. Hey, we only get 30 minutes to do this type of presentation, so hopefully we've been able to give you some experiences and give you the confidence to know that if you contact us, we're happy to do a deeper dive and show you how some of these work. But in the meantime, I'm going to throw it back over to you, Lori, and welcome any questions we might have time for.
Yeah, we did have a few questions. So if you want to stop screen sharing, Mark, so I can close us out with our slides, I'll go ahead and take screen sharing over. Thank you. So Mark, I know one thing that came in, and I also saw this came up before too. I had a question about how pricing worked. Do you mind giving us just a real high level overview of how that works?
Yeah, well, first of all, we understand that not all associations are the same. So you have different needs. Our pricing is really done on a matrix that's based on the number of attendees you intend on having and the number of events that you're going to have. We do have some add-on services where we can white glove your event for you, but you'll be amazed at the amount of support we give included in the license that includes that consultant that's going to help you with the best practices. But if you're a small organization and have a small event, I'm confident that we're going to be able to meet your needs and put a dynamic event on at a lower price point. And if you have a more complex event or greater needs, we can do it obviously at a higher price point, but we find that we come in nowhere near the top of some of the other platforms you've seen today.
Great, thank you. Now I had someone ask, is this all just a mobile responsive site, or is there a separate mobile app? Can you explain a little bit about that, please?
Sure. Well, the platform has always had as a component a mobile responsive site that was derived from the data created on the mobile app. So we're using one back office to generate both areas, and these areas have been available through the entirety of the product, which was launched 7 or 8 years ago. Now we do 3 to 5 upgrades a year and have a pretty heavy roadmap on what to do next, and we're highly responsive. I once asked our VP of Mobile Technologies how many changes came from client requests, and he said all of them. So as we see what clients are needing, we're making those development changes and making it go forward. But with regards to it, it has one back office that provides a mobile app for people to use and a responsive website for people to use. Once an individual is logged in both, all of the information syncs up.
Okay, and
I do see it's unclear the difference between Event Central and Engagefully. I'd like to answer that real quick if you don't mind. Event Central is an unlimited event platform that that we're demonstrating today. Engagefully is our year-round engagement app, which allows all of your departments to speak to individuals. And one of the modules within Engagefully is Event Central. So if you're looking to have the ability to do unlimited events or a single event, virtual, hybrid, or live, Event Central would be a great product for you. And if you're looking to have an ongoing engagement with your constituency, your membership, whether it be from membership, marketing, advocacy, whatever, and wanted an events component, Engagefully would be best for you. And I'd be happy to talk with you to see what's best for you in both. What's really nice is you can start with one and always grow to another.
great, thank you. Let's try to sneak one more in before we close out. Let's see, I had somebody ask about lead time to get started before an event.
Well, we come to market very fast because it's a licensed product. So what's really exciting is that, for example, for Johns Hopkins University, while I don't recommend this lead time, we did it in 9 days. But if you're looking at a normal lead time where it's not a rush or a rush decision, what we find is usually within 3 to 4 weeks, you're in position to publish a really great app, depending on the number of integrations you have and or the branding options you have. It might take up to 6 weeks, but we know that immediately from talking with you up front, so you can make that part of your plan as opposed to wondering how long it's going to take as you make your decision.
Great, thank you. And there's a lot of questions we're not getting to yet. So I just wanted to share, I put in the chat window there, our landing page that you can go to that has an easy way to request a follow-up demo. That would be a great next step for anybody that has additional questions or potentially saw something that was a fit for their organization today and would like to take a deeper dive with Mark. So please reach out to schedule a demo. And then, you know, like we mentioned, we have lots of organizations that have recently used the platform, and so you can access via that link that's on screen now some of their success stories as well, if you like to learn more about what some other organizations are doing as well.
Good. So Mark and Lori, thank you so much. Again, I'm fully aware that I'm asking people to compress what might be an hour-long conversation into a half hour, but I'm amazed and thankful that everybody's doing that, and I think the attendees will benefit from that. So feel free, you guys, to join the chat room, Lori and Mark, and answer some of those questions. I'm sure people would appreciate it. And to the audience, we'll be back with you in approximately 15 minutes. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Bye.